Hello, everybody. Erin, welcome to Friday night again with Greenway. Um, you will want a couple blankets and a block as usual for class tonight. Um, and we'll go ahead and get started on our backs. So, finding your choice of shape, your spine connected to the mat. Maybe with legs out long or knees bent, soles of the feet planted wide and knees falling in towards one another, allowing the arms to rest wherever feels comfortable. Maybe that's on the ground alongside your body. Maybe that's somewhere on the belly or chest. Maybe overhead. And once you've found where you'd like to be to begin class, blinking the eyes closed. Starting to tune out the outside world and tune into the body and the breath. Starting at the toes and working your way up towards the crown of the head. We'll do a scan of the body, making note of any sensations, any spaces where there's discomfort or tightness or pain. If you need to adjust the shape that you're in order to work with any of those things, you're always welcome to do so. And then starting to send the breath into those places, whether that's the lower back or the shoulders, jaw, or forehead, anywhere you might be holding tension. Next, if you haven't already done so, we'll place both hands on the belly. And as we inhale and exhale, we'll direct the breath to the place where our hands are resting. Feeling the belly rise and fall. Noticing the expansion and contraction that comes naturally with our inhales and exhales. inhale, we'll reach overhead with fingertips and send toes out towards the bottom of the mat, coming into a long body stretch. And then exhale, we'll bend knees and bend elbows, keeping feet and arms planted on the ground, coming into a supine horse shape. Inhale to reach out long. Exhale to bend knees and elbows, pulling them in towards one another. Inhale to reach. Exhale to contract. Inhale to reach. Stretch. And exhale to pull knees and elbows in. Last inhale, we'll reach. And this time we'll exhale to plant soles of the feet back on the ground and bring the arms out to a T or a cactus with bent elbows. And beginning at center, we'll inhale and then exhale to drop both knees over to either side, left or right. Inhale to center, and then exhale to drop knees to the opposite side. And just continue with these slow windshield wipers on your own. Several breaths. Maybe bringing the head and neck into it. Tracking gaze in the opposite direction of your knees as you exhale, and drawing it through center on your inhales. Next time your knees drop over to the left, we'll pause and hold here. Invite you to take that gaze over towards the right arm if you haven't already done so. And next inhale, we'll move through center. And then exhale to drop knees over to the right, gaze to the left. Making that gentle supine twist on the opposite side. Continuing to feel the rise and fall of the belly, even in this more constricted shape. Next inhale, move back to center. And exhale, roll to either side. Pausing for a moment in a fetal position. And as you're ready, we'll start to make our way up to all fours. you. Once we've made our way to our tabletop position, we'll start to just take some organic movement here. Maybe some cat cows, arching and curling the spine. Maybe some side to side movement, forward and back. Taking a few breaths here to get any wiggles out that your body might be calling for. And then we'll find stillness in our neutral tabletop position. From here, we will send the right leg out long to the right side of the mat, planting the sole of the foot in line with the left knee. So we have a big gate latch shape with our legs here. And from here, we'll just start to move forward and back, sending the hips back towards the left heel, and then away. Feeling an opening in the inner right thigh. And you can start to explore maybe taking the hips in some small circles. Not a huge range of motion here, but just noticing what the sensation is like in the right leg as you do that. And then we'll find stillness. And from here, we'll keeping that right leg extended, we'll send it out back behind us, so tapping the toes down on the ground, and keeping that right leg straight. And then inhale, we'll drop the belly, lift the tailbone, lift the collarbone, lift the gaze. And then exhale to curl, arching the spine, tucking the tailbone, tucking the chin. Feeling an opening in the front of the right hip. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, cow pose. Exhale, arch the tailbone, tuck the chin, cat pose. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Let's take 2 more of these on. Grounding through the top of the left shin, both palms. And after your last round, we'll return that right knee underneath right hip. And then we'll take the opposite side, sending the left leg out, left side of the mat, so the plants. And then start to move through that forward and back motion. Maybe moving into some really small circles with the hips. Direction, and then the other. And then finding stillness, we'll send the left toes back towards the back of the mat, tapping them down to the ground. And then we'll move to our cat cows here with our left leg extended, sitting belly, lift the chest. Exhale to curl. And that pull through the left hip flexor. And let's do 5 rounds total on this side. Again, I'm going to ground through the top of the right shin, pressing both palms into the earth. And then after your last round, we'll meet back in tabletop. Re-stacking shoulders and hips. And then on an inhale, we'll sweep our right arm up, opening out to the right side of the mat. And take some big circles. Do that right arm. Getting this open twist. Taking those circles in the other direction. Next inhale, we'll reach fingertips up. And then exhale to thread right arm through, finding thread the needle. Right shoulder comes to the ground. Right cheek. Hips stay lifted away from the heels. Letting gravity pulling into this shoulder opener. You're choosing an option with the left arm, maybe keeping it where it is, reaching up overhead, or finding a bind, tucking it behind the waist, reaching for the right thigh. Wherever you are, sending that breath into the belly. One more inhale. And exhale. Maybe plant the left palm. Inhale to sweep right fingertips back up one more time. And then exhale to plant right palm underneath right shoulder. My next inhale reaches the left fingertips up towards the sky. And then start to move through those circles with the left arm. Keeping our chest open in this twist as we move. Reversing the direction of your circles. And then your next inhale, reaching back up one more time. And then exhale to thread through on the left side. Connecting left shoulder and left ear to the mat. And finding a place you can release any holding for a few breaths. One more full round of breath on the side. And then replanting the right palm. Inhale to sweep those left fingertips up. And exhale to return to all fours. And here, we'll bring big toes together to touch. Knees come out as wide as you would like, maybe as wide as the mat. And then exhale to send hips back towards heels. Arms reach out long overhead. Finding a child's pose. An option here to put up a supported child's pose with your blankets underneath the upper body. Connecting the forehead to the floor. Grounding the palms. And again, noticing the belly as you inhale and exhale. And then the shape, feeling it expand and fall towards the earth as you inhale and contract, belly button moving towards the spine as you exhale. Inhale to expand. And exhale to contract. One more breath cycle in child's pose. And then on an inhale, starting to walk hands in towards the body. Press yourself up to a seat on the knees, removing any props from underneath you. And coming to sit back on the heels. In hero's pose, connecting palms to the tops of the thighs, finding length and lightness in the spine, through the crown of the head. My next inhale, lift the hips away from the heels, arms come overhead. Then exhale to sweep arms down, hands can come to hips. And we'll step the right leg forward, either one really, but turn on the right side. Coming into a low lunge. From here, we'll plant both hands at the top of the mat, near the right foot, and then start to walk that right leg out towards the side of the mat. And if you want to grab a block here, bringing both hands inside the right leg, putting up a runner's lunge. And use a block to bring the ground up towards you if that makes this more accessible. And first, kind of just playing around with some movement here, so maybe moving the hips back and forth, forward and back. Maybe coming in and out of a twist, forward and back motion, bending and straightening. Do that right leg. Option here also to place a blanket under the back knee for a little extra cushioning. And then eventually coming back to our lunge, finding stillness. Tracking the knee out towards the pinky toe edge of the foot. And your chest can stay lifted. Or want to deepen this stretch, you can start to move towards elbows. We're rounding the crown of the head towards the earth. Finding a shape that you want to stay in for about 5 breaths. After your last round of breath, move any props out of the way, walk that right foot back in towards center, framing both hands on either side. And then inhale to lift back up, arms overhead. Exhale, hands come to hips. Right foot steps back to meet the left, coming back to standing on the knees. And next, inhale, arms come overhead. Exhale, hands to hips once again, and left foot step forward this time, coming into that lunge. And then we'll drop hands to inside the left foot. Start to walk that left leg out a little bit wider, and then start to take some organic movement once again. Maybe moving forward and back, making some hip circles. Feeling free to grab any props at any time, whether that's a blanket for the knee or a block under the hands. Just moving into the edges of where it feels tight in this shape. And eventually finding stillness in your runner's lunge on the side. Choosing your depth and intensity. Maybe it is the same as the first side, maybe it's not. We'll be here for about 5 more breaths. And after your last round of breath, starting to walk that left foot back in towards center. Hands come to either side. Inhale to lift arms up. The lunge. Exhale, hands to hips. Left foot steps back to meet right into that seated shape. And then from here, we'll just cross the ankles and rock back onto our sits bones, coming into a cross-legged seat. And maybe you want a blanket under the hips here. You're doing some hip openers and foldings. So sometimes raising the hips up a little bit is helpful here. But before we do that, we'll work on the shoulders a little bit. We'll inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale to sweep both hands behind the lower back, clasping fingertips around one another, finding a chest opener. Doing a couple breaths here. And the collarbone broaden, front of the throat open, keeping shoulders dropped away from the ears. Inhale. And exhale to release the cups of your hands. Next inhale, we'll sweep just the right arm up overhead. And then bring the right palm to connect to the left side of your head. And then exhale to start to drop right ear towards right shoulder. Just using the weight of your hand and arm to deepen the opening in the side of the neck. But without tugging or trying to use the muscles of your arm, just allowing the weight to rest on the head. And here you can start to play with the direction of the gaze, keeping that palm connected, and maybe tracking the eyes towards the floor, and then up towards the sky. Moving through 1 or 2 rotations. You might have to adjust the position of your hand as you do this. And we'll find ourselves back at center. Inhale to release that hand and bring the front of the head just stack back over the spine. Next inhale, we'll take left arm up overhead, and exhale to drop that left palm to the right side of the skull and let the left ear fall towards left shoulder. Again, just allowing the hand to rest there, using the weight of the arm to gently tug those neck muscles. And starting to move the gaze in one direction and then the other. And we'll do one more round. And moving back at center. Exhale to release that arm. Come back to a tall seat. And from here, to our cross-legged position, we will take the right shin and stack it right on top of the left, coming into fire log legs. And here, you might already be starting to feel a stretch in the right other hip. And if you want to stay right here, seated up tall, that's fine. Or if you want to intensify this, you can start to hinge forward from the hips as you exhale, maybe walking hands out in front of you, starting to round over the legs. Again, setting up a prop. You want something to rest the arms on or the forehead. Once you've found your edge, coming to stillness and letting the breath move into that right hip. One more breath here. Your thyroid, this first side. And if you've rounded forward, your next inhale will start to walk hands back towards the body, unhinging. And then we'll exhale to release both legs out long in front of you. You rock out the hips, shake up the legs a little bit. And then we'll start to move into the second side. This time stepping left shin on top of right. Starting in a tall seat. Starting where you want to go. Inhale to find length. And then exhale to maybe start folding forward with or without a prop. Noticing, does this side feel different than the first side? Does it feel tighter or more open? Not forcing it to look the same, just working with what it is. And continuing to send the breath into the belly. And take one more breath on this side. And again, if you fold it forward on an inhale, starting to press yourself back up to the feet. And then exhale to send the legs out long once again, shaking them out. And from here, planting the soles of the feet, bent knees. On our mats, we'll exhale to roll down onto the back. Here, keeping feet planted, but maybe adjusting them a little bit closer in to the seat. We'll bring arms alongside the body and grounding through the soles of the feet, grounding through the forearms and palms. We'll inhale, press the hips up towards the sky, lifting chest, keeping shoulders and the back of the head connected to the ground. And exhale to roll the spine back down. Inhale, hips lift, feeling the spine away from the mat. Exhale to roll back down. This time, grabbing your block in one hand, bringing it close to the hips. We'll inhale to lift one more time. And then slide that block right underneath the sacrum on either the medium or low setting to find a supported bridge. And making any adjustments you need for finding stillness. And here, maybe playing around with straightening one leg at a time or both that is accessible for you. You're welcome to stay in the supported bridge as long as you would like. If you're ready to move into your final Shavasana, I invite you to start doing so now. Setting up any props you want. Finding a shape on your mat that allows you to fully relax. Whatever that looks like. Closing the eyes. And for a few minutes here, just being as you are in this moment. starting to bring some depth and length back into the breath. If you're not already doing so, bring both hands to rest on the belly. And once again, feeling the rise and fall of your body as you inhale and exhale. Next inhale, reach arms up overhead, stretching through fingertips and toes. And then exhale to roll to either side, curling up into that little ball shape one more time. And then after a breath or two, bringing yourself back up to a seated position. With eyes closed, hands resting on the body, thighs, knees, and the lap. We'll take one collective breath to finish out our practice. So bringing hands to heart center. We'll exhale all the air to the lungs and sealing the lips. Drawing a deep inhale through the nose, filling belly, ribs, and chest. And open the mouth side out. Gently tucking the chin, blinking eyes open. And bring our thumbs to third eye center. And bow forward. Namaste. All right. Thanks, everybody. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. And I will see you next